What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So are we going to have an employment crisis in 2022? Now, I'm sure you've seen the stories. People are just not going back to work. We're having the great resignation, and we are obviously still worried about a possible new variant. But here's what experts are saying. We are about to see an employment crisis in 2022 for multiple reasons. Many job seekers will change locations in order to land their ideal job, and I'm pretty sure you are on the same boat. If you want to change your job to go and find the best possible job for you and your family, you're going to do so. Employers, they're actually going to start increasing wages even faster in order to land the best possible candidates. We know housing costs in certain cities are actually going to go through the roof in 2022 and potentially in 2023 as well. And all of this is going to be contingent on how Omicron impacts us long term. So here's what we know. Well, first, let's dive into what is actually going on. Why are job seekers changing locations? Well, it's actually pretty simple. People want to land their ideal job. And due to the pandemic, millions of people have realized that they didn't have their ideal jobs in 2020 and in 2021. So now they want to change. Millions of people are expected to move to cities where housing is actually less expensive, but also where there are multiple employment opportunities. For instance, manufacturing and healthcare is expected to see a huge shift very soon. Now, let me give you a list. I want to give you a list right here of the 10 best cities, according to experts, that say this will provide a high-paying job in 2022, and the best part is you won't actually sacrifice your quality of life. Here's the list right here. We got Nashua, New Hampshire, San Jose, California, Scottsdale, Arizona, Seattle, Washington, Orlando, Florida, Austin, Texas, Portland, Maine, San Francisco, California, Salt Lake City, Utah, and Columbia, Maryland. That's the list. Now, why is this list so important? This list is extremely important because people are changing cities. People want a different, a change of scenery. They want a better paying job. They want quality life. They want their quality of life back, which many people have not had in 2020 or in 2021. 2022 is going to be different. So, why else are we going to potentially see an employment crisis? Well, let's address this fact. Why would employers increase wages right now? Why? Why are we seeing this? Well, let's look at this from a existing employer's standpoint, okay? Because this is the reason why this is a crisis. What happens, just keep this in mind. What happens if you are an existing employee, but a new employee comes in with less experience, makes just as much, if not more money? Well, what's going to happen is you're either going to be very upset and quit. This is part of the reason why we're seeing this great resignation. Or you're going to request a raise. And if you don't get the raise and you decide to quit, you're going to find something that is either paying more and comes with more benefits. So, you see how this becomes an issue? As employers are increasing wages across the board for new employees, the existing employees are going to want that increase as well. Now, in a recent survey that was done last month, 240 companies were surveyed, and they stated that they would be giving a base pay increase averaging about 3.9%. This would be the largest one-year projected pay increase since 2008, which was a huge crisis back then. We also know that more than half of U.S. states raised their minimum wage in 2020, and employers are expected to hike pay even faster than that in 2022. This could be big. This could be very big for a lot of people. But let's also address why housing costs will impact the jobs market in 2022 as well, because this is important to note also. When housing is reaching its record highs, and we're seeing housing prices just top, in the local area, the natural thing to do, and what many experts tell you, is you should sell. you should sell your house and move to a more affordable area. But let's look at this from the perspective of a lower income earner or a first-time home buyer. In many cases, a lower income earner is not actually going to be able to make enough money to afford a home. They will likely have to rent for some time, and that causes a lot of issues. And this turns into a problem because the area could have much more educated job seekers, but a limited amount of open positions for those people. Guess what? The employment crisis will begin when people with college degrees have to settle for more of an entry-level job due to the simple fact that all the other positions have been filled in that area and they don't want to move. So the housing market is going to cause more skilled workers to take a less desirable position simply due to their location. Now, guess what? What happens to all those that don't have degrees, that are simply being priced out of the market? What are they going to do? They will likely be forced to move. And the last thing that's going to happen when all these people decide to move is that the housing market is continue to go up. Why? Because there are more highly educated people in that area who are usually making more money. So it's going to keep going up, which is actually going to price out lower income earners and people without degrees. Again, big issues. Because if you have a city, a location, doesn't matter where, or a neighborhood that's more, people with college educations, chances are it's going to be more expensive to live in that area. But it doesn't mean there's not jobs for people that are just coming out of high school or still in college. But the problem is those people might be priced out of the market because they can't afford to buy and can't afford to rent. So another big issue. And this creates another employment crisis because what do those people do? Do they not take those jobs because they bought a home and now they're pretty much tied down to the area? Do they just not take that job as a fast food worker or whatever else? Not bashing fast food workers, but that in most cases is considered an entry-level job. So do those people with an education, do they not accept those positions? Maybe, maybe not. But again, that throws up everything into the mix. And the last thing, and this is extremely important that I think everybody knows we have to look into, is we have to keep in mind that Omicron is actually going to dictate what the employment crisis of 2022 actually looks like and how far it actually goes. Reports today, this actually came out today. Reports today indicate that the Omicron surge is actually slowing. It's slowing and easing in states that were hit early and hard by this variant. So this could actually be a good thing. But if we see that these states are able to control the spread of this virus, then we could see less of a change to the local employment market. But if Omicron mutates and turns into a more severe variant, then it could ultimately spell disaster for millions of Americans. It's not what we want. But here's what experts are currently recommending. If you currently have a job, they say keep it. Keep it while you continue to look for something better. And if you have a job and you've had it for 5 to 10 years, always be on the hunt for something better. And they say do not quit prematurely. Also, they say talk to your employer about getting a raise. Some employers won't actually give you a raise until you actually request it. And finally, this is a big one. If you do move locations, and this is something that I referenced earlier on in this video as well, find a location that has multiple job openings within your industry. For instance, let's say you are an auto mechanic. Don't move to a city that only has one shop. Find a city or location that has multiple options, has 15 different automotive shops, so that you are not reliant on just one. Because if you have one shop in the area, you may be able to stay busy, but are you getting paid a good salary? Maybe not. But if you have, let's say, 10 different shops in the area, you may be just as busy, maybe a little bit less, but at the same time, you can actually negotiate between the different shops to get the best salary and the best benefits. So that's what experts are recommending. But this is what we know regarding the employment crisis of 2022. This is actually an interesting crisis to have, but experts say that in the end, after all this stuff kind of blows over and we settle down, every single one of us will be better because of this employment crisis. So let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below regarding this employment crisis, what we're going to see, if you're already seeing some of these big changes. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. Also, hit that like button if you enjoyed today's video, and also consider subscribing so you never miss an update. I just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.